Hello, 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 hello. There we go. There we go. All right. Everything is fine. Yeah, I think I just changed that up right there. There we go. And now we are live. All right. So, a lot of stuff happening. I've had a unconfirmed source. Now, I can't provide and say this is true, but there has been some people stating during this time all the Kremlin leadership and Lukashenko from Belarus all evacuated to an unknown location somewhere around 200 kilometers from Moscow. The Wagner convoy apparently a deal was struck over the phone to stop the mutiny. I can't really understand as to what is true or what's not. These videos that we're seeing here appears to be convoys. Now, Prigozhin issues first statement since mutiny ended. You know this right here, right? Old news. But I don't know. Another stating Lukashenko, and that other guy was Putin. The other guy is somewhere, you know, in a bunker. I don't know. Probably false news. I just provided here in case that if it was true. I will, if there are some people who come out who I trust, then yes, I will provide that too. Now we have other news here, which are quite more important as it's coming in here. From the 30th, which was yesterday, right? We have 11 hour ago. So NATO entered Belarus international provocation on August 30th. Armed Latvian soldiers reached the Belarusian border at Kronoshev checkpoint, as reported by Belarusians. Now, so this video right here, which I have very hard to believe that this is actually a video showing to Latvian soldiers who appear to be going across from the Belarusian border to the Latvian border, or from Latvia border to Belarusian border. I just happen to think the way they're dressed doesn't look very NATO standard. The way they're dressing up, it looks like they're looking around. They're really like thinking what is happening. Is anybody looking? Now, a gun on his back, for example. Let's look at a gun on his back. So that may be a provision right there. Look at a gun on his back. Does that look NATO standard? What gun is that? I can't even see. Does it look like an M4? Kind of looks like an assault rifle. Some sort. Now, this video has gone around, and I have no way to provide the factor. Is if this is a true thing happening here. Now, there's another video here from Flash, and I wanted to show you this video. I will just go to Flash anyways. One who cares? No, Flash. There we go. He's also got his daily news. We'll watch that a little bit later here. So, a lot of stuff has. So, there's new images from the Pskov airfield after the drone attack. At least 2 destroyed 76 are already visible here. These are transport aircrafts. The pictures were taken a day and a half after the attack, and the airfield damage is estimated about 200 million. That's a lot in damages. I want to find that video he was posted just here a second ago. Okay, he said 2 hours ago. There we go. A few days ago, this is reported 4 hours ago. A few days ago, the first nuclear warhead was delivered to Belarus. This was stated by the head of defense intelligence to Ukraine, Badanov. That's how I say his name. Don't. Prior to that, large-scale training with nuclear simulators were conducted. I read the original documents and the results of the training. According to the result for the ice counter systems, it was recognized that Belarus was completely unprepared to operate such weapons. Now we got But we got Russia in the area who do operate these weapons. In fact, they're the ones who provide these weapons. So in my mind, as to what we're looking at here, now we got Ukraine providing the factor and saying that there was, in fact, nuclear simulated training in Belarus. Now, why would you need that, right? Why would you need that? It's hard. It's hard. Really hard. It is. But Ukraine Armed Forces Commander in Chief had a telephone conversation with the Chairman of Joint Chief of Staff General Mark Miller, who's the highest ranking officer in the U.S. military. There's a supply of weapons, ammunitions. We'll discuss some other things with the F-16s coming up here. Ukraine, Zelensky is asking for, I think it was 160 F-16s, which he says is what they need. Here's another one. Verification has shown that almost 180,000 citizens have mistakenly received payment as an internal displaced person. This was reported by the Deputy Prime Minister of Temporarily Occupied. What? All errors will be corrected and payment such person will be stopped. Interesting. So there's explosions. We had for IQ air croissants and drones. We have so I saw a video here. It wasn't here, but it was some time ago. I saw on my own news there. We have a pictures of Ukraine's first. How would you put it? Like they're cardboard drones, and I say whatever works. It seems fun to me, right? That works, but apparently it works. How you doing, Ocean? Now, cardboard drones, right? Cardboard drones. It seems very fun. I mean, listen, they work, and apparently they're able to target combat air elements, which is, so if Ukraine is able to build stuff out of cardboard that can target multi-million-dollar systems, and making the plane and the tank, all this stuff that we fought the wars was about. Ukraine has proven to us that these $1 million things that we make in war, they're just not worth it anymore. You make a cardboard box, then that works. All right, so Vladimir Zelensky held a meeting on next week. There'll be big things, significant negotiations for Ukraine. Other meeting about tomorrow, September, is the start of the new school year. Vice Minister, sector official fund outside. Okay, the selector with the military and officials front and our offensive actions. The result of weapons, the new Ukrainian weapons, 700 kilometers. Challenge is more. An agreement has been reached on supplies. Long-term deals has been struck. Things are, what I would say, looking up. Now, this is good enough for here. We'll go back here because there were some videos circling around of these, these Latvian NATO soldiers crossing into Belarus. And I will probably be able to find it here again. And I just, find it a bit weird here that, armed Latvian soldiers breached the Belarusian border. In breach, they just walked across it. The difference between breaching something and walking across it. So, the checkpoint as reported by Belarusians. Right. It's just the thing that it seems weird to me that there would be two. Why would they even do that? And look at that gun right there. The clothes and their weapons doesn't look NATO standard. I've never seen a NATO soldier walking in clothes such as this. They got no markings on them, by the way, either. If no way, look at that. He's peeled everything off. There's nothing on him, his arm right there, which would identify who he is. Usually soldiers. Same with this guy, right? There's no, it doesn't say anything about NATO or anything. Weaponize who those guys are, This guy looks like he just came from Afghanistan. I mean, why is he walking You know, why is he walking like, oh shit, you can't see. My bad. My bad, guys. So yeah, so this is the video here. There's no, fucking markings on his arms right there. You see, usually there would be something on his arm. And, I'm not a military expert here, but if any of you are, anybody known, usually when you walk around, you'd either have something, and especially if you're border guard on a border country, in a border, you definitely have something on your, body or suit that would, your uniform that would identify who you are. But this guy doesn't have anything on his armor, and this guy's walking around. He's walking around boots. Oh, no, boots maybe, but normal civilian clothes, and then just put a Well, he didn't do that. Fair enough. But I just think that if they were on a border crossing between two countries, I'd imagine that they have some kind of identification on their bodies. But if you didn't, this doesn't look very. This is gamer. You're a NATO. You're a unit. I mean, you're obviously Danish. I mean, these guys just seems so weird for me that two Latvian soldiers would go across. And by the way, that helmet right there, that's not. It doesn't look very. They have two different uniforms on, which weirds me out. Why do it have two different uniforms on? It looks very. They're looking around, thinking. They're looking around, just looking around as to what's going on, and walking into a grass field. Now, either they're also the way they're looking like they just came out from that truck. Yeah, I think it's weird that they came out from behind that truck there. Looks like he's just put that on. He's kind of like putting the vest on there as well. He's looking around. They're all looking around. It just seems so weird to me. I mean, I just think, maybe we're looking at some kind of intrusion here. I mean, it just, yeah. I wouldn't. Why would two Latvian soldiers decide all of a sudden? Oh yeah, what were we gonna do? Oh, we're gonna walk across the fucking border to Belarus because we want to join the Belarusians. And if that's what's happening there, but I just think it's very. One of the guys doesn't even have a gun on him. The other guy just has a gun. It looks very ominous. Looks very weird. You guys are watching, but nobody's reacting. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just. It looks so weird the way they're looking around. They know they're doing something that they aren't supposed to be doing. They came up from the truck. That guy, he's kind of like, oh yeah, just put something away, or he's putting on his suit, or they're driving a truck. There's a truck there, just standing still. What is that truck doing there? I just think whatever the hell is happening there, it just looks so weird. I mean, yeah. Doesn't look very normal to me. But it's also reported, the funny thing is that was reported by, we just read the report here from Flash, the Ukraine's intelligence chief there is saying, oh, Belarus is not ready to use nuclear weapons. What they're saying is these, and that may answer my question, because I had a report read that this combat brotherhood was going to focus on radiation and chemical training. So these 6 days of training supposedly is because Russia realized that they're not ready to use the Iskander systems in any way, and now they're realizing that now we need to train them up so they can use those systems. I just think it's weird. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I have no idea. I mean, this seems like it's all like CIA operation. Not CIA. It's not like it's not. I didn't mean like it was CIA. That's not what I meant to say. Well, I didn't mean to. You get it. The thing I meant to say was it looks like this top secret. Something's happening under the skies. Really, really ominous situation here. We have the pictures from the Pagask airport. I want to get you this because we have pictures here that just shows these bomber planes here, or transport planes, sorry, that was blown up. So you can clearly see, you go back, right? This is the planes at the area. Now notice them now. So there's multiple planes in the area, right? Because it's called the Princess Air Base or Princess Airport or something like that. Now look at that. Look at that right there. So it appears to me that they're showing two different things here. So that one right there, so it appears to be that it was something on the other side. But it appears to me that these two planes right here was destroyed. That one looks like it's been cut in half. I don't know what the fuck's happened right there. So yeah, you know, this is what Ukraine did right here. Well done. Well done. Well bloody done. Look at that. 2 cargo planes out. More of a statement than a, you know, military transport aviation regiment. So it's yeah. God damn, that's really, I mean, that is you're not fixing that up. You know, you're not fixing that up anytime. You're not fixing that up. The police and governments from Nigerian armed forces have surrounded the French embassy in the capital of Niamey and set up checkpoints in order to search any vehicle which enters or exits the embassy compound. This follows the order issued early today by Nigerian military junta for the police to expel the French embassy by force. They're actually okay. So this is a developing situation here. So now they want to expel them by force. All these vehicles right here. Well, it just appears to me that they're stopping the ones with diplomats inside it or something like that. So that's the compound right there. That's the embassy right there. You can see the French flag in the background there flying around. So that's a French flag right there. So this must be the French embassy, the compound going around. You can see look at the barbed wire on the front there. Barbed wire right there. This is the police right here, searching vehicles, making sure they're not either taking anything out. So we have, yeah. Yeah, I mean, firstly, they're making sure they're not driving anything out, making sure to know where they are. Chances that the fact that they're gonna let them in. Yes, they do. There's, as far as my knowledge, there's about 3 countries, Basono or something like that. I get the names for you, but there is African countries, and there's also been another military coup in another African country. I can't remember the name off at the moment right now. But yeah, there's been multiple takeovers, and it seems to me that the African people are now, you know, looking at the situation here and the, you know, the takeover of this and wanting to expel the Europeans from the, you know, wanting to expel the Europeans from this area. So now what they're doing is saying, you know, we want them out, and that's what they're doing. So they're kicking them out. You know, these military coup, and the people are very much behind it. So there are, Niger does have a lot of support, actually. And they're getting support from a lot of people, which is, you know, and it's most of the majority is African people, so yeah. Well, African countries and African, yeah. There's also, of course, the outlaw countries. You have Liberia supporting it, you know, because that's just what they want to do. But yeah. This guy right here looks, he's white. He's definitely white. Just not to point out anything here. I want to say that this guy definitely comes from the embassy. You can definitely see that. Just the way they carry themselves. You just distinctly tell, you know? They're taking videos. So what they're doing here, and people are like, what are they doing? Are they checking for bombs? No, what they're doing is identifying, so they know who they are. So they, you know, ID, they write down the ID, they take their number plates, the pictures of the car, so they know every single one of the people that are inside of these embassies for future, you know, implications, right? So if they want to kick them out, they know who to kick out, they know where they may reside outside of the embassy. So it's a really, you know, actually quite a dangerous situation here. And the military government, the junta government there, has given the go-ahead to, you know, expel them by force. So you can see that guy in the background there. Very much looks like he's comes around here. He's taking a picture. Well, 1 second here. Look at it. Okay, so you can see that? See that? There's cameras right there. Look at that. That's also cameras. He's taking, this guy's taking the camera to the guy. That guy's taking camera pictures of the back. Look at the film. They're filming every vehicle coming in and out so they can identify every single one of them. You definitely see that guy as the guy in charge right there. He's walking, you know, whenever there's a guy with his hands behind his back walking like he doesn't have to do anything, that's the guy in charge. So that's what they're doing there. I'll find the... So there's also other news that came after I went offline there. 2 mil MA-8 transport attack helicopters with the 8th Army Aviation Brigade of the Ukrainian Ground Forces have reported to have crashed earlier today along the front line near Bakhmut, while conducting a combat mission, resulting in the complete destruction of helicopter and death of all 6 pilots. Usually 6 pilots? Criminal allegations has been launched by the Ukrainian security service regarding the cause of the death. This is the second Ukrainian aviation incident in a week, with the crash last Friday, the second L-39 Albatross light attack trainer aircraft colliding over the Sustonomy region, resulting in the death of 3 pilots who were in F-16's flight program. Yeah. At least 3... Oh, they were in... Okay. Okay. So, so there's quite some suspicious circumstances here going on. And I have a feeling that a lot of what Ukraine is flying with, a lot of what Ukraine are maybe given, if these attack helicopters, which I believe are from the Baltics, I believe those Mil-80 transport attack helicopters, I believe are from Estonia or Latvia. I think that's where they're from. And to point that out, that means that there's either they're very old and doesn't work, and that's why they're crashing, or whatever's going on with the Ukrainian pilots, some who may be having been put in a pilot seat a bit too early. You know, there's all this stuff's happening here, but yeah. At least 3 Striker 8X FIVs and 1 T-70B tank and a Wolfhound MRAP were damaged and abandoned by 87 Air Assault Brigade of Ukrainian Armed Forces during recent battles near the town of Robotan on the Zaporizhzhia front line. It is not known if these vehicles are recoverable. So we have a video of it here. This appears to be a Russian capture here.
Надіюся, що це не наш. Блять, наш. Їбать його, пацанів нема.
What the fuck is that sound? Alright. Well, they appear to be very damaged. I mean, I wouldn't want to... I don't think that right there is recoverable. You know, I don't think that right there is very recoverable. Looking at it, that one's pretty much just driven into a ditch. That one looks a little bit better. I think the one in the back is not recoverable. Doesn't look very recoverable. That one doesn't look too bad, does it? No. That one doesn't look too bad either. Got some front damage there. Yeah, there's some stuff scattered around it. This is a Russian taken video, I think. I don't know if it's Ukraine taking the video. I mean, if they're just getting the vehicles back, if they realize the vehicles were there. I don't know if this is Russia taking the video. I have no idea. Oh yeah, if you do want to like the video, please do. It's only free. Give a subscribe as well. It's only free. Now, I have no idea if this is a Ukrainian person recording this, if it's a Russian recording this, but whatever, or whoever it is, you know. It says that the Ukrainians abandoned them, but, you know, you can't expect them to be perfect. Things happen in war. You can't expect them all to be perfect. You know, the Russians are sometimes, you know. Oh, look at that. Repair crews are still working on the Crimean Bridge after Ukraine struck the site in July. A structure for construction equipment and new barriers to guard against the naval drops are visible in the last image. Oh, look at that. So they removed the big part of the bridge there, and then they put something underneath it, appears. Damaged area. So the whole road right there is gone. You can see that. You can see the whole road is gone. They've cut it off or something like that. I think this side was the one that was in the ocean. Definitely limiting the amount of supplies getting through there. And then we got something that appears to be water born to go underneath as a temporary measure, maybe, or if they're repairing it or something like that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why Ukraine insists on hitting the road constantly. You know, the road, despite how much you can get through on a railway, your main target should be hitting the railroad. And it appears to me that the whole fuss, you know, there was a lot of fuss earlier about, you know, a lot of Ukrainian drones having hit the area. You know, there was a whole sun up all of a sudden of people sharing videos. It was hit again. There was smoke everywhere. And then, you know, I saw that and I was like, oh yeah, it's hit again. And I've not seen proof of that being, you know, provided. All we know of so far is that it was damaged in July pretty badly, but yeah. Did you guys see that? Did I change it back? Waiting to bring my boat. Well, the boat wrap is gone, it appears. So the bridge is not as damaged as previously reported by a lot of people, but you know, it doesn't matter. Still damaged. Oh, look at that. The French government has stated that the army is ready to respond if military junta in Niger attempts to expel the French embassy by force. So, how you doing, Witchy? Welcome back. So, Niger government has given the go-ahead to expel the French embassy workers, you know, by force. That's what the Niger junta government has given go-ahead for. They've said, oh yeah, you can do that by force. They're taking videos, they're reconning, you know, they're doing all that. And now France has said, oh yeah, but if you do that, our army is ready to respond. You see the thin line here, right? I mean, I'm not the only one who see the underlying cause here that's maybe be a little problematic here. That the junta government has said, oh yeah, we're going to expel them by force. France has now said, oh yeah, well, if you do that, our army is ready. If you try to expel them by force, our army is ready. That's a very thin line to be lying on right now. Very thin line. You know, and it appears to me that it's going to be a massive African war. You know, Niger has its ECOWAS against it, but it appears to me that there's a lot of countries that are now supporting Niger in its efforts. Fucking Jesus Christ, right? You're done, AFJ. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Niger has ordered to expel the French embassy from their country, and then France said, "Oh yeah, but if you do that, we will come and we will bring our army." I don't know why I went Austrian right there, but you get it. ECOWAS, they're like, oh yeah. Like, it's really thing about ECOWAS is that you know, one day they're like, oh, we're gonna go to war. The next day they're like, oh, we're not interested. You know why that happens? Because there's one of the leaders that says we want to go to war, and then there's 30 other of the leaders that actually doesn't want to go to war, but they don't get the time to speak before the other guy has already said that we're gonna go to war. They don't agree on shit. They act like they want to agree on everything, but the truth is, they have all kinds of dictators and crazy people who run that fucking ECOWAS, and we get the defense minister of ECOWAS who acts like he's in control of the whole idea behind ECOWAS, but in fact, there's a lot of those African countries who provides very much, So, you know, it, yeah. So, uh, Gabon is one of the average. This is one that has had just a military coup just now here. That is also one of those guys that has a military coup. So as of right now, what I know of is that they've also had a military coup, which is fucking It means that they're also very actively behind. Um, uh, Niger. Holy shit. French flags are burned. Niger no longer delivers uranium to France. Africa is turning its back on Western values. That they are. You're not wrong on that, are you? You are not wrong on that. Yeah, it's gone off. Oh my god, my head. No, Niger. I mean, hey, listen. France has still one of the biggest navies in the world. It hasn't stopped since World War II. And you gotta remember, they still have installations and people and forces in the areas. So French military, if they in fact do want to go to war in Niger, they could easily do that. Now, if it is because they simply want to take over the fucking country, there's nothing stopping them from doing that. But the only problem is here, you're fighting an insurgency war. I've explained this before. I'll explain it again to you guys. Insurgency wars is next to impossible to win. You can try and win them, but it won't happen. What happened in Afghanistan? Everybody said that we're fighting against an army, which isn't an army. They're just a bunch of local peoples with guns. They don't have proper equipment. What the U.S. was expecting was a bunch of guys in uniform fighting with with military tactics, but that's not what you get when you fight insurgencies. It's just a bunch of guys, with normal clothes, with AK-47s and a lot of bombs, that's gonna go ahead and want you to expel it from the country because they don't want you in the country. Now these are the people, these are the people fighting. This is not the military fighting. But the military, in which Niger does possess a somewhat military, you will have a hard time taking over a country that has its very, very hard ideals on this new military coup. It wants this military coup. The people like the government. They want to protect. They don't want the West in this country anymore. That's what they want. They don't care anymore. They want the Western societies out. They don't want them in the country. Everybody's behind it. Well, 90% of the people is. So you go ahead and you kill a lot of those people in the military. They may not be the toughest military, but what happens then, right? Insurgencies, you kill, there's 10 soldiers, right? You kill 10 soldiers. Now, you'd imagine that there's no more soldiers left. But the thing about insurgencies is that when you kill those 10 soldiers, now you don't have 0, you have 20. Because those soldiers definitely had a brother, a father, a sister. Well, you get the point, right? A son. Now they want to fight. Because you just killed their father, their brother. Right? And that's what happens. That's insurgencies. They're next to impossible to win. The only way that you win is by simply annihilating everyone in that war. Insurgencies, which is what Niger really is at that point, it's going to be, it's impossible. It's next to impossible to win. They're not winnable. Unless France wants to simply take out every single person in that country, which if they did would be, they're not going to be allowed to, right? And yeah, it's a lot. So yeah, I want a hell of a headache right now. God damn it, a lot of things going on right now. I gotta. Whew. God damn it. Alright, well, since you all here now, let's watch the daily update from Flash. Look at that on. This, in fact, and yes, if you are thinking about this, yes, this was not the one that struck Pagaskov, but Ukraine has been very successful lately getting their long-range systems going. So I'm just saying, start to expect a lot of things happening inside Russia. I'm calling it now. You got to start to hear a lot more stuff happening inside Russia, because Russia is running dry in pretty much everything, and Ukraine, not having air superiority, they're roaming the skies. They're the fucking kings of the skies at the moment. You may think Russia is, but as soon as they get those 73 fucking F-16s, you know who's going to be the king of the sky. It's Ukraine. Oh, I take it back. It was Pagas. It was Pagaf. That was the long range. My bad.
Находимся внутри борта, ищем очаг, пока ничего не наблюдаем, кроме задымления. Как понял? Как понял.
Це ж заради безпеки.
Там еще есть последняя.
Тримай. Ну, піднімай ніжку. О.
Настя, ой.
Так.
So the video we saw yesterday of those systems moving into Belarus was in fact true.
Завершальні 500 метрів до Кам'янського мосту, де зазвичай відбувається ротація.
Так, відходимо всі.
Зрозуміли, що коридор працюють наші сапери і так знешкоджуються міни. А оце дві машинки ООН.
Well, you got that right, Ocean. It's about who's counting. Let's not forget that there is still some corruption in Ukraine. I'm not gonna disclude it, but I will say I still think it's very likely that Zelensky's gonna win. Very, very likely. Very likely. I think he's been there since how long he's been there? He's been there since 2019, right? Yeah. Alrighty. I guess they have 5 years terms. No, what are we in now? They have 4 years terms. Yeah, we're in 2023. I forgot. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess so. Well, man, I don't know. Can't believe it's already been 4 years. Soon, right? You Biden, 4 years, sensei. Now, but it does confirm the video we saw yesterday of these ice canner systems moving into Belarus. what appears to be weird for me is this whole idea behind it is, Belarus is now in possession of these things, and the defense, well, the defense intelligence minister, the intelligence chief, right, said that it's a developing situation. But it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. I mean, I just can't figure out in my mind as to where they're going. I know they're probably gonna do something, but yeah.
Это не кажется. С Путиным и... Слушай, вот часто слышу.
All right, so there's a video here. I want you to take a look. This is the range Lukashenko right here.
А какая договоренность? Это не кажется. Созвониться с Путиным и... Слушай, вот часто слышу. Вот это российское оружие. Без России чем не применит. Слушайте, если начнется война, я что, буду смотреть по сторонам? Снял трубку, где бы он ни был, он снял. Он позвонил, я снял трубку в любой момент. Даже вот сейчас. Поэтому, что тут за проблема согласовать нанесение какого-то там удара? Это не вопрос. И тут спорить даже нечего. Тут мы уже договорились. Пусть враги, Оля, трепещут.
That the enemy trembles. Tremble, right? And the man's deranged. 86, how you doing? Didn't see you there. The man's deranged. God damn it. I need to call up Putin to launch his nukes. I don't need to do that. I knew it myself. There's a war, I just do it. But what war is he talking about? Another thing on the news here, and I was going to put it in the title, but I was like, maybe a bit. But I have seen reports here, and I'll get this to you. So Lukashenko invited Poland to military exercise of CSTO to normalize the relations. Check this out. I mean, this is weird, right?
При всем при этом мы готовы к восстановлению добрых отношений со своими соседями. Как я говорил, их не выбирают, а нет Господа Бога. Однако в ответ на все наши посылы идут только обвинения и угрозы. Никакой нормализации им не надо. В подтверждение сказанного, чтобы исключить любые инсинуации по этому поводу, мы пригласили представителей Польши в качестве наблюдателей на учение ОДКБ «Боевое братство-2023», которое начнутся уже завтра в Брестском регионе. При всем при этом...
Yeah, so the exercises are beginning tomorrow. He's asked Poland, hey, come on over. We want normalizing relations. They want them to, what, check out the exercise? Fuck. What the fuck? What the fuck? You know? It's weird. Yeah, I mean, it's... Wow. He's drinking off the Russian Kool-Aid. I just don't get it. Yeah, man, it just seems weird, right? He's out asking Poland, hey, come on over. Watch what we're doing. Watch us simulate a strike on your country. That's gonna be a great time. Hey, come on over. Watch us simulate a strike on your country. Yay, right? The fuck? What does that even mean? I don't... Iran weightlifter banned for life after shaking hands with Israel athlete. Yeah. So, it doesn't give you the idea behind how tense the situations between Israel and Iran is, you know. Just the idea of just how deranged this whole ideology is. And this authoritarian rule. It doesn't make any sense, does it? It's just so ridiculous. I mean, it's so ridiculous, and it's in so many ways it's ridiculous. But yeah, let's go on Flight Trader, guys, shall we? See what's up. We got Forte 11. Of course we do. Got a Russian plane. We got a U.S. plane. We got Ukrainian plane. We got another Ukrainian plane. We got a Russian plane heading to Algeria. Wonder what it's doing in Algeria. What are you doing there, buddy? All right, we got. Oh yeah, look at that. We got a river joint. The E3. These guys are pretty usual. DC-10. Yeah, not unusual to see that. The CM5, yeah. Bolt 12. Oh, a tanker. There are some videos. We're gonna watch the video I uploaded earlier because the hurricanes are, as of my understanding, happening still. Let's get on that video there. Nothing unusual as of right now. There's this river joint that's been doing drills or reconnaissance just outside here. It cuts off its radar around here all the time, and I imagine flies around over here. Yeah, I just think that's weird. You know, I think that's and of course a Russian plane taking off from China. Surprise, surprise. Cargo train. But the river joint that's been doing rounds over here. That's kind of, yeah, just noticed that. I mean, it seems to be doing something, right? All right, let's check it out, guys. So, I have a video from earlier. See if I can find it. Oh yeah. So there's a lot of at the moment here. I don't know if you guys came to watch this, but this is a video from Pagoshin, who's talking about how he. I've seen the translation for this. He's talking about, if anybody was wondering, you know, people were discussing if he's dead or alive. He said, "I'm fine, I'm okay." And of course, the people are spreading the narrative around how the factor that this is in Africa, by the way. It's recorded in Africa. And they kept saying, you know, oh, what is this live? Another sparking, you know, Sky News, CNN, all these people, you know, reporting on it. Discussing my death, etc. I'm doing fine, Prigozhin says. So it's filmed not long before his death. Now, the thing about that is, it was filmed before his death, and people like his death, right? People forget that before he died, people were discussing whether or not he was alive. There was a good period in where we didn't know where he was. He kept showing up in random videos to, you know, discuss the fact that he was alive, and then you know, we found out that in fact, yes, he was alive. So, and then of course he died. I have no doubt in my mind he's dead, unless I find something else. A video filmed after his death, I will condone the fact that he is dead. This was taken before he was dead, but you know, this whole death idea is so weird. I mean, it's just amazingly weird. I want to show you this, and sorry if any of you are a little bit, you know, squeamish about this. Well, I don't know why you would be, but okay. So there's some word in here. You know, you gotta read it. So, two Ukrainian women who filmed themselves dancing and twerking on the graves of slain soldiers in Kyiv cemetery on the nation's Independence Day face 5 years in prison after being charged with desecrating. There we go. A grave. Now, I get the idea behind, you know, you have to be respectful. These were talking about heroes. This is the Independence Day. You have to be respectful. This This is an important time in your country. And you got to remember, this country's at war. People are dying. This is very fresh wounds. You know, and you're desecrating and you're dancing on top of this. You should not have done it. It's a very, very disrespectful thing. I will say, 5 years, it's very harsh to give 2 young girls 5 years in prison. That's a very harsh sentence. But, you know, I would have stopped by with some free labor there for a second. You know, free labor. I would have said maybe some community work in helping in the war would have maybe benefited you more than putting them in prison for 5 years. You know, they should probably be given the say so that they shouldn't have done it. I think 5 years is a very harsh sentence for doing something like it. They shouldn't have done it. You know, I'm not disagreeing. They're punishing, you know, but yeah. How about they bury a few bodies so they change their mind? Yeah, you know, or something regarding helping out the war. You know, carrying stuff, helping out with a soldier, helping out, you know, stuff like that, which could have benefited you more. I think you got to think about the human lives here, because you have very limited resources in the war. But, you know, okay, so it doesn't matter. You get the point here, guys. I was watching a video earlier here today.
Category 1 storm.
Now, this is about the category of how a storm is, you know. And there's a category 3 in 5 years is a lot. It's too much. I would say it's too much. You're 2 young girls. I mean, they should have, you know, fine or been given a fine or something. All right, see you later. The ocean there. But this is a video about the different effects of a hurricane. I don't know why it's in like this, because I think it's the way TikTok just is. But we'll watch this here. Hopefully you can see it. It's weird, but we'll watch it. This is the different categories of what of how it works. So these hurricanes, just for your knowledge.
And the damage here, not too bad. A couple of shingles fall off. You can
Category
have some
5,
palm
yeah.
fronds bending
But it's
in the
coming
wind,
up here, guys.
but everything
Watch.
basically remains intact. Category 2, that's where you really start to feel it. Look at the windows of the house. They can be hit from debris from the outside and already start breaking in a Category 2. Your trees are significantly bent over in the wind, and the siding of the house itself can break, flapping there in the wind, adding to those eerie noises inside. Category 3. I've heard only a Category 3, but it's not only anything except really bad news. In a Category 3, you can have the door of the house blown in because the winds get so strong. You can have the roof of the house start to flap up and down in the wind because it can lift off those weak points, and a lot of those trees start to fall. Category 4, the damage is even worse. You get most trees falling, most of your windows breaking, most of your shingles fly away, and then Cat 5 is as high as the category scale goes. By Cat 5, no shingles remain anywhere nearby. The holes in the roof get so big that the walls of the house start to fall because they're not attached to anything anymore. There won't be any trees up in the neighborhood. That's just catastrophic damage. But again, that's just from the wind, and there are other impacts from hurricanes, and they all vary through the season.
Yeah, so there's a Category 3 in Florida. I thought I'd share this video here to point out, or I don't know if it's happening or still happening. I think it's about to happen. I don't, you know, you get it. But there's the whole thing happening here in Florida. It's a very tense situation, guys. And Category 3 is not just it's only Category 3. That's a very, you know, East End statement, because Category 3 is a quite devastating category. It can leave behind lots of damages. You know, it can show houses that haven't been built properly, or, you know, older houses and stuff like that. You know, Category 3 is a devastating effect for houses that hasn't been built properly, you know, or older houses. So I'd say watch out. Share that out if you have anybody who live in Florida. I think most people at this point are probably going to be, you know, out of the city. Then there was the news yesterday, and news just get better. People were planning on, you know, leaving or sheltering down. They got gas for the time being, your generators, or for the cars and stuff like that if anything was to happen. Now, all the gas that they actually bought, they spent so much money on gas, and all that gas, gasoline, guys, not gas, gasoline. You know, we call it gas here because there's a lot of Americans here. But they said that this was contaminated. It didn't work. And you shouldn't put it in your car. It could explode. Or, you know, it could damage the car. It could ruin the car, they said. And so things just get better and better here in Florida today. So, or over the times here. It is quite insane, and you should very much out. You know, the U.S. has been experiencing record high amounts of these happening. It's a lot, you know. So, let's see. Anybody have the knowledge? I mean, I haven't been following along on it. Is it happening now, or is it gonna happen? Oh, look at that. Yeah, look at that. There's videos coming out here from yesterday. Look at that. This is the road before the category 5, the category 3. So this is when people say, oh, it's only a category 3. Look at the road. That's the road. That right there, that's the road. That's how it looked after a so-called only category 3. It's in Inglewood, Florida. August 13th. Look at that. Look at that. It's gone. It's already passed? Alright. It happened yesterday. Alright, I was a little confused as to where it was gonna happen. Florida got absolutely flooded by a hurricane, which means we have to send another 10 billion to Ukraine. Oh. Very nice, buddy. Very nice. Very taggy. You know, it's a good statement, buddy. Oh, look at that. Peak storm surge, battering structures on Cedar Key, Florida, doing hurricane. We're glad the TZ underwent an eye wall replacement circle at the end, but the wind field expand and produce a dangerous skirt. It's a bumpy road, guys. Look at that. That's how it looks like there. You know, this is where you used to walk. It's... Holy shit. I mean, it's... Look at that. Disaster relief, as far as I know, has already been given. The house is devastated. I mean, it's... Holy shit. Yeah. Okay, there. You gotta get out of there. Yeah, obviously, Sherlock. You gotta get out of there. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Oh my god. Those windows are holding somehow. High tide at the same time. Doesn't get much better, does it, 86? Does it? You know? Doesn't get much better. Because there were reports about this gasoline being contaminated. People couldn't do that. It just doesn't get much better, guys. This is terrible, terrible, terrible. Any death reports? I've not heard of death reports.
And it just seems to continue
It is important to note that they were very prepared in the sense that we knew this was going to happen a long time before it happened. I've not heard of any people dead. Of course, I haven't read reports. I mean, this happened yesterday. So getting reports about dead people while this happened yesterday, we're probably not going to get reports before 3 days. You know, it takes a while, especially in these conditions right here. All this has to get away. You know, you have to, you know, assess the damage and all that. It takes a long time.
major storm surge.
Yeah, well, they had a long time to prepare, guys, and that's what you got to remember. There was a long time to prepare about this, and we'll probably get more news maybe later on. This guy's not flying a drone, I think. Yeah. Well, thank you, buddy. This is a great video. That's the ocean right there, so that's, you know, these guys are definitely... But you can't see it's heading towards the ocean, as you can look at current trying to... Well, that one, but maybe... We can't see some of the areas over there that maybe have been a little bit higher up. Some of those are no longer flooded. They look like it was a hill right there, and maybe I've kept that safe for a bit. But look at that. That's a palm tree right there. I reckon that's about 2 meters of water right there. You know, around that point. We still see the winds. Look at the winds right there as well. Look at the winds. You can see the ocean as well coming in over. Yeah, it's definitely not pulling out. You can see the current going in as well. So, look at that. And these guys probably did pretty fine, didn't they? Doesn't look like there's a lot of structural damage, as much as the videos we can see. Although I do see a lot of debris in the water. So there's probably been a lot of structural damage. We just can't really get a good look at it. I'm looking around. I'm not seeing too much, but... You know, looking around in the ocean, you could probably see some, you know, wood from houses and stuff like that. Just looking around, the houses looks somewhat intact, don't they? You know, look, a lot of those houses appears to have been very close. Looks very intact. But look at that. I mean, that looks like close to maybe 3 meters of water right there. I have no idea how tall this is, but if you okay, well maybe not. How tall do you think this is? Because, I mean, that one right there, this one might be, that's maybe like, what do you think? Maybe a meter of water? 2 meters? Close to 2 meters, maybe? 1.5 meters, maybe? Something like that. That is absolutely insane. And this happened all over here. We have the Biden speaking here.
Governor DeSantis. Morning, I spoke again. It seems like we should be on direct dial, the two of us. Governor DeSantis and we spoke again this morning. I let him know that I approved his major disaster declaration. Morning, I spoke again.
All right, so Biden approved the major disaster locations. I was talked about that before. Major flooding. That's a dumpster right there. It's a metal dumpster weighing in at about probably 300 kilos. I don't know, but it was floating. You know. A dumpster was caught floating down the road, down the water. So you gotta, yeah, that is a lot of water. It's like he's sitting in a car. The fuck is he sitting in a car? Oh, maybe he's sitting in one of those pickup trucks or something like that. Video gets submerged doing, oh. House gets submerged. Oh, house. Whoa, does it get completely submerged? Just look like anybody's home. Oh, okay, there we go. Now we got the structural damage. Holy shit, look at that. That was probably doing the high time. Jesus Christ. Look at that. She's fucking disastrous right there. This all happened yesterday. I can't believe I didn't talk about this yesterday. How the fuck did I not do that? Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's definitely above 3 meters. And look at that. That house right there. That 2 meters, 3 meters. Definitely got sunk into the ocean. That water cost to maybe 3 meters, above 2 meters. That is insane. Well, prayers and hopes go out to everybody. I don't believe that anybody was home. I mean, along the coast, there's probably not been anybody for a while. We probably knew, you knew that because they've been evacuated. You know, you gotta imagine that. Those were the ones to have been evacuated. The first, more videos there of just a house completely desecrated. I have extreme danger from wind in case, you know, bees Florida considered with the mist. So that's from today as well. So these are people who's probably back now, you know, after the hurricane ended. You know, look at that house right there. There used to be a house there. Well, it's still a house, just missing the top. Jesus Christ. Yeah, look at that. Some of those houses are on stilts. They've probably been used to it, but Jesus. Got the whole local community working together there again, it appears. The one thing the Americans are good at. I want to take a moment here to talk about the Americans here. You guys are just fucking amazing at looking at a situation, something happens, and then the next day, you go ahead and you go on. You pick the whole thing up, you prepare it, you go on, and you persevere. You're really good at that. I mean, everybody. You know, Americans just have this kind of inner-laying will inside them to just go ahead and take it on, you know, which is amazing. Patrick, hello, how you doing? There's air sirens going on in Ukraine right now.
Some of the worst wind damage that we've seen so far is in Keaton Beach, Florida here, and you can definitely tell it was northern eyewall, the direction of the trees going from northeast to southwest, and this neighborhood here has some significant damage to roofs and structural damage, some that's relatively isolated, which just suggests the role of mesovortices within the eyewall, and they were certainly evident on radar. You can see radar velocity, tornado-like vortices going around inside of the decaying inner eyewall of Hurricane Idalia as it was undergoing an eyewall replacement cycle, but that still brought in the damaging winds. The storm surge wasn't quite as significant here with the offshore winds, but given the bays and the structure here, definitely were some impacts from storm surge as well, especially after the hurricane passed and you had the onshore westerly flow here. But wind damage a lot more significant in this portion of the inner eyewall with those northeasterlies just hammering this beautiful community here of Keaton Beach, Florida, but a lot of structural damage, roof damage, and it is relatively sporadic, definitely suggesting the role of those tornado-like mesovortices rotating around the inside of that decaying inner eye wall of this hurricane.
Yeah, I understood that. Yeah, I got that. Yeah. Jesus Christ. That's gonna take some time to get up.
That's not good.
You don't think so? Jesus Christ. That removing roofs from the ground. Yeah. This guy's gonna be working 24/7 today. I tell you what, he's gonna probably make a lot of money out of this. Not me because I want to talk about it, but here you go again. You know, this is exactly what the video said. You know, you had the Hurricane 2 when you started to have some of those things fall off the side of the wall. You know, those. This is not exactly what I think the same. You know, those. What do you call it? Wood pieces, right? But you know, this is the exact point right here. Oh, there's an American boomer? Right, Tom? Fair enough. You know, this was the kind of weather I used to walk into school. You kids have it so easy. Look at this weather right here. This is what I used to walk into school. There's a fish on the road. Hey, buddy, you're not supposed to be there. You gotta go in the ocean, buddy. Free catch, boys. Get it now. I'd get it now. Yeah, try and catch that. Yeah, throw it back in. There you go.
Oh. Okay, don't come back.
Okay, don't come back. What the fuck? How do you think it's gonna get up there? I'm sorry. Sorry. That's yeah. Sorry. It's gotta respect. What is it? Manatee. Oh yeah, there it is. Species grown up. Wildlife doesn't appear to have been affected that much. Yeah, they also said 86 there said, you know, so as you said, there was a high tide as well as when it happened. And some of those fishes right there, I don't think he's sick. I think he's tired. It might have been fly fish. Oh, fly fish. Right, yeah. Hey, some of those guys right there are probably tired. They've probably been battling the ocean you know, probably washed up, having to battle, trying to actually survive and not be damn oh, look at that. Look at that right there. That is severe, but look at that. That's the whole building side of the brick wall side of the building here is just falling down there. Oh, this is bad. Same video here. Yeah. Well, talking about sleeping under the stars. You know? That TV probably doesn't work that much anymore. That's just disgusting. Oh, that is bad. Record high hurricanes over the Americans right now. It is insane. Oh, that's a whole gas station? Is the whole gas station just blowing up over itself? What is that? Yeah. No, it's the roof of the gas station. Look at that. On the roof of the gas station just collapsed. Oh my god. Look at that. It's the whole roof just collapsed. Well, that's gonna take a while to get up. Alright. Well, got some stuff going on here in Ukraine. Kharkiv at Donetsk. The air raid's on. Alright, this just went off. Talking about the sun, right? Sounds of shots are heard in Pskov local social network. Oh, it appears that Ukraine has not been stopped yet. Ukraine is firing back at the UAVs in Pskov. They are not done yet. Taking out more planes here. We are hearing shots in the area. Listen. Now, either it's a lot of Russians having a lot of fun, or they're trying to shoot down drones. Oh, look at that. Oh, what? Russia is moving Russia is removing air defense systems from Kuri Islands. This is reported by the Kurdish agency, citing satellite images from Maxia. The Russian Federation took out numerous S-300 anti-air missile systems, which were concentrated on disputed islands of Aichurub and Kunshin of the coast of Japan. Oh, God. Of course they did. They're running dry. Of course they did. Running dry on the front. Or are they using it for something else? Let's get your stuff on the Deep State Matt, huh? Shall we? Oh. Oh, there. Movements. Oh, the Russians are retreating, are they not? They have retreated behind. Look at that. The Russians' movement. They're going backwards. You know, the new bag in Russia is front. Small movement over here from the Russian army, it appears. Small movement. Maybe just a troop allocation more than a real one. You gotta run, orcs. Run! Alright, I'm gonna get you on 88 speed. We're gonna check out what's going on over there. And then we are getting through it. You got it. God damn it. Yeah, not a lot of air activity over Europe. We got E6 in the middle of the U.S. We got P3 sublocator, Vancouver Islands. Or Island, sorry. Islands, right? It's called Vancouver Islands, right, isn't it? Oh, it's called Vancouver Island. All right. Well, my bad. I'm not American. Don't. Yeah, not a lot of air activity. For first day. For first day, we got maybe some river joints and some reconnaissance going on. Pretty usual stuff. Not a lot of air activity. A lot of cargo planes are up, but that's as far as I can see. That river joint from the side of Ukraine winter start. Same time as everybody else's winter, Patrick. Somewhere around November. Late September, maybe. Somewhere around November, I think. We're going to see a shift towards the winter. But pretty much the same time as everybody else does. Yep. Pretty much the same time. Colder there than the UK. Well, Ukraine is affected by Siberian winds during the winter, and I think that yeah, it's colder. But the UK can get very cold during the winters. But Ukraine has the you ever know about the Siberian winds during World War II, right? Which actually, what the Russians, they won that war because of those winds. Well, maybe, people always blame the Russian winter for the only reason why they won. No. The reason why they won was because the Germans were being stupid. They were being stupid while fighting. Hitler was being stupid mostly. The commanders gave stupid, announcements, stupid stuff, stupid things to do, all that stuff. But that's beside the point. But they're affected by some of the Siberian winds coming down towards it. But they're also in the areas around Turkey and stuff like that. I don't know, actually. I think it does get pretty cold. But, I don't think it's going to be English weather. I think English weather always beats everybody else's, doesn't it? Will they still be able to fight? Will they lose this one because of them? Because of who, Patrick? I don't. Well, usually fighting stops during winter because the ground isn't. Usually, you just don't fight in the winter. I don't know. I mean, the ground is hard, but there's also snow everywhere, and it's not the easiest terrain to move in. Obviously, they're still fighting, but who's gonna lose, Patrick? Are you asking me if Ukraine's gonna lose because there's winter? Russians. How would I know? Listen, I don't know. I can't answer that because you never know about war. You can't predict the war. But point is, the Russians are, you know, as much as the Ukrainians are probably going to dig in. Starting a winter offensive is a hard thing. Could be happening, but digging in winter usually is the obvious choice. But it's hard to point out. I don't think, you know, obviously Russia's already losing, so a hard conditionized winter with a lot of Russian soldiers being under-equipped for the winter. Gotta remember, if it gets really cold during this winter, which is setting up to be, you know, well, that doesn't really track. I mean, nobody has the advantage in the winter. The Soviets did, but that's because they were used to fighting in it. And nobody's really used to fighting in winter. People don't really fight in winter. Unless you call up the Finnish people, you know, people who fight in Norwegian areas, then sure. But, you know, nobody's really used to fighting in the winter. I can't point it out, guys, because we don't know. War's predictable, right? But let's point out here the obvious questions that the people are going to ask, you know, because, well, the Germans... Sorry. No, not the Germans. I think we're too much about World War II here. The Russians are under-equipped for winter. They're probably gonna be very cold, which is gonna limit their abilities to fight because it'll be cold and fighting at the same time. You know, it's gonna. Me and Chuck Norris could wipe out the Russians totally. Yeah, whatever you say, man. No, but you gotta know that when the Russians, who are very under-equipped, they don't have winter clothes. They're probably not going to be having winter clothes. So fighting in the winter for the Russians is going to be a very, very hard thing to do. Because you're, first of all, you're cold, right? Now, I don't know if you've ever tried doing anything while being cold. It's a lot harder than doing things while being very hot. Frostbite is another thing. You know, it doesn't matter. If it gets cold, it's going to get very cold. If Siberian winds comes in over, you're going to have a cold winter. You know, it's going to be very cold, which it's setting up to be. If it gets that cold, frostbite is another thing. The Ukrainians being properly equipped for winter warfare. The Russians are not equipped for winter warfare. The Ukrainians can maybe paint their tanks white or, you know, have a special winter conditions or stuff like that, which could camouflage that. The Russians probably won't do that because they're not going to have the ability to. So, you know, you ask me, you know, if you're thinking about it, the Russians in this winter are probably going to have a very, very tough time. You know, are they going to lose because of it? I don't know. You know, usually people dig in, but I just don't see this war, you know, when we get to December, the Ukrainians are probably going to have to have broken through some kind of line. You know, 2 months of fighting, well, they're breaking through lines every single day. You know, you got to note that they're probably broken through some kind of big line there at that point, and the Russians would be fighting to just even stay in Ukraine in December, you know, so, yeah. It's going to be very, very cold. We got the, okay, so we have the update here for Ukraine. Russia's losses as of August 31st. 610 troops lost today, 8 APVs, 23 vehicles and fuel tanks, 13 tanks, 31 artillery pieces, 22 UAVs, 1 MLRS, 26 cruise missiles, 8 special equipments. I find these numbers very hard to believe. I just feel like you lost 31 artillery pieces in one day and 13 tanks. These numbers are and they feel very inflated, don't they? They feel very, you know, I mean, these guys, they feel like they're just pulling them out of their asses. Because, not as much as I don't want to say, you know, obviously 610 troops a day, it's very possible that's what they're losing. But I'm just thinking, like, 8 APVs and 23 vehicles, 13 tanks, and 31 artillery pieces, and one MLRS in one day alone. That's a lot. You know, if that's true, it's impressive by the Ukrainians. I gotta give it that. That's very impressive. Well done, Ukraine. But it's just that's you look very inflated. You know, I don't. You know, the Kyiv independent right here as well. Yeah. So. But I don't know. If it's true, it's true. And if it's true, then well done, Ukraine. You know? Let's just say it's true. It's very true, guys. It's true. Puts them very much in the image of just how fucking bad the Russians are at even fighting in the fucking first place. Too many dead? No, I think 600 seems pretty good. I think 600 seems pretty reliable because it's a very wide front. You got to remember that, you know, the front of Ukraine is larger than Denmark, so it's a very large front. I think 610 troops in one day sounds pretty reliable. Yeah. Got the UK mod usually uses live numbers every day. All right, well, I'll check that out as well. ECOWAS has denied the report made earlier today by Armed Forces, AFB. The president of Niger, Bola Tinubu, has suggested a 9-month transitional period for military junta in Niger to return for democracy. All right, great, 9 months. Call it a coup belt. Oh, look at that, guys. So this is the amount of countries. Six hundred is actually quite a low number. I would put it at, because you got to remember that line. When you're looking at a map, you think, oh, that line isn't very, it can't be true. But you got to remember that if I put a pin up right here right now, guys, this line right here, from here to here, is fucking, it's 639 kilometers. That's from here to here. It's probably close to maybe 800 or 700 in total of fighting, on the front line. So that's a lot. That's a lot, How many I think it's fighting? I think Russians have close to, I think they're getting up towards the 500 Farson mark. I'm not sure. I think that's what the last report said. But, they could be adding more. You got to keep that line equipped. 500,000 sounds low, maybe even low, but, you never know. Over the last 3 years, guys, they're calling it a coup belt. So, Burkina Faso, Mali. So, Burkina Faso has supported Niger. Gabon has just had their own, coup, as long as Chad and Niger, obviously. So, Russian air defense operators seem to have itching trigger finger now after the attack of Moscow the other night. They're like, holy fucking shit! Yeah. The way Russia fights, and you got to put it in your mind. The way the Russian fight is volume over quality. They've always done that. World War II, it was very much volume over quality. Although I will say, they had a lot of quality weapons in some ways. I mean, the T-34M was a formidable tank. Don't get me wrong. And they produced it so fast, but if you ever look at how, the troops, the equipment they were given, you had the whole Russian front, right? There'd be one man that was given a rifle, and that one man would then have a partner, and that one partner will be given a cartridge of 5 bullets. And then they were sent off. So I think the gun had 5 bullets in it, and the other guy was behind. He wasn't given a rifle. He didn't have a gun on him. The one guy, he just had to hold the bullets while the other guy shot. Then they then reload it, and if they, and then they could possibly go back. But if they're on the move, you had 10 shots to do good with. You had 10 shots. One of the guys didn't even have a fucking gun. It was insane. They were even told, okay, so when the guy in front of you dies, go pick his gun up. That's what they were told. You look it up. So when that guy dies, pick his gun up. That's what you gotta do. Pick his goddamn gun up. Yesterday. Another explosion moments ago in a desert region. This is from yesterday. Check those out. Ooh, hello. Yeah. Look back here. Boom. Bada boom. Yeah. One cat's like, oh, I'm chilling. Yeah. Alright, well guys, I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm not feeling too well here. Got a bit of a headache. I think I've overdone myself here. But yeah, I got a bit of a headache going on. I think we covered the news pretty good. You got general knowledge. So this has been your daily update here. You guys have a good night, and I'll